Okay, wow, we got silence now, that's great. 6 o'clock, we're going to get started. I'd like to call to order the Downtown Development Authority regular board meeting Monday, September 8th. And we'll start out, if everyone could help, please stand and do the pledge.
Yes, we can do that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, Hillary, is roll call.
Stalford, Raska,
Here.
Herrick,
Here.
Allgaier, here, Elliott,
Here.
Brandon,
Here.
Wingelmeyer,
Here.
Greenway, here, Coxey,
Here.
Perfect. And you can also indicate that our interim DDA director, Miss Jennifer Fenney, is with us.
Yes.
So you can indicate that. So thank you for being here and joining us tonight. And a little bit later on the agenda, she'll take the opportunity to introduce herself a little bit more and let us all know her wonderful past and all the skills she brings for us. So welcome. Thank you for being here and getting these packets together. Call for approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any additions or corrections to the agenda?
should we excuse Linda?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we'll excuse Linda. Anyone want to excuse Linda?
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Linda Stalford.
So moved.
Okay,
I would love to add something to the agenda.
okay.
Parking.
You want to add parking to the agenda?
Downtown parking.
Under new business,
Yes.
we'll add item number 2, downtown parking. Anyone else have any additions or changes? If not, I'd take a motion.
Motion to approve as amended. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on. Next is the approval of the minutes from the August 11th meeting. Everyone has had a chance to review them. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I don't think my computer likes the DDA's computer because it kind of changed the formatting on the names, but you guys kind of see the last name
Oh.
goes. So if I do it, I could always send like a PDF, so that it doesn't do that in the future. I don't really know what happened, because it did not look like that when I sent it.
Yeah, it's
That
probably
would-
just
that
the
would happen to
format.
me too.
Okay.
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second with Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on. Financial report. Everyone's had a chance to review the financial report as presented. Any questions, concerns, opportunities? Ms. Kuski? Anything?
Not yet.
Okay.
Nothing stood out to me.
I'm sorry?
Nothing stood out to me.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the financial report as presented.
Second.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on. Public comment. This is the time where anyone here visiting with us this evening can step forward to the mic. You have 3 minutes. State your name, address when you come to the microphone, and it is for items that are on the agenda. If you have items on the agenda, come forward.
Anna Matson, 15091 Western Valley. I just had 3 things in the bylaws that I just would like to give my opinion on for changes as a resident. I know I'm on the organization committee, but this is just me personally speaking as a resident. So under the conflict of interest section, it says that board members, shouldn't have a conflict of interest, and that is defined as a financial or personal interest. I think that the personal interest should be taken out and just left at financial interest, because I really think that that could be weaponized against people. Because really, like, you guys all have businesses, you guys all live in town, business or live in town. And really everything is of interest, personal interest to you, that the DDA does in some way. So I really think that that specific word can be weaponized if you have a rogue board or something. So I think conflict of interest should just be left at financial interest. So that's my opinion on that. And then for the public comment period, as we know, the first public comment is anything on the agenda only. Personally, I would like that to just be opened up, both public comments, to just be opened up where people can talk about things on the agenda or not. Because sometimes, like, I have stuff to do and I would like to come in and address the board on something that may not be on the agenda, and I don't want to have to wait to the very end of the meeting to do that. So personally, I would like both public comment periods just to be, you have your 3 minutes, you can discuss anything on or off the agenda. Just, again, a personal thing. And then the last one is probably more for legal, because I think the DDA law says that the executive director just works at the discretion of the board, the DDA board. And in the bylaws under director, it says that they work directly with the DDA chairperson and the village manager. So I just don't think that's consistent with the Public Act. So I think that director part, or the village manager part, needs to come out. And those are my notes. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything?
Kristen Maxwell, 104 Battle Alley. I'm on the agenda to talk about the Mischief and Magic event and seeking we have co-sponsorship already with the DDA for insurance, et cetera, but looking for funds to help add to the event. I gave you guys all a paper. I'm sorry it came today and
That's
it wasn't.
under new business, actually. You are on the agenda for this evening.
Oh.
So if you're discussing your new business item of the Harry Potter event sponsorship,
Am I in the wrong?
we can pick that up in a minute.
Okay.
It's all good. It's all good. It's a single sheet. It's underneath your pile. Sorry for the confusion. Does anyone else have anything? Okay. Hearing nothing else, we're going to move on to old business, which is the bylaw amendment. Again, I just want to start out by saying, Hillary, we appreciate all the efforts and hard work you've put into this. I know you've had a committee and a lot of pieces, parts going back and forth, so thank you for sticking it out and hanging in there. Bylaw changes and amendments are never an easy process, but you're doing it greatly, and I think we're in the home stretch, so let's take it away.
I agree. Before we begin today's discussion on the bylaws, I wanted to take a moment to directly address the concern that has been raised, the idea that this process has not been transparent. Let me be very clear, nothing about this process has been hidden from the board or the public. In fact, we have gone to great lengths to ensure that everything related to the bylaws review has been shared openly, from committee discussions to full board meetings. Let's take a look at the timeline, and I'm going to start before I was even on this board to show how long and public this process has been. On August 14th, 2023, then Chair Bob Hoffman instructed the DDA director to begin reviewing the bylaws to determine whether updates were needed. On September 11th, 2023, the director reported that one portion of the bylaws appeared to be in good standing, but it was actually board members who volunteered to take a deeper look, and that's when we discovered that the state law given the DDA its authority had changed back in 2018. That alone required updated legal references in our bylaws. Since then, the bylaws have been discussed numerous times over the past 2 years, And just to highlight how visible this has been, let me focus on this year alone. In January, February, and March 2025, I personally reported during board meetings that the organization committee was reviewing the bylaws. These committee meetings were posted publicly and open to anyone who wished to attend or view the materials. Starting in April 2025 and continuing through May, June, July, August, and now September, the bylaws have not only been on the board's agenda, they have been included in the agenda packet and discussed during open meetings. Each time revisions were made, they were sent back to the organization committee, which took feedback from both board members and the public and incorporated further research. And let me correct one more common misunderstanding. The organization committee has no power to approve bylaws. The committee can only recommend changes. The final decision has always rested with this board and a public forum under the full view of the community. So today we're presenting yet another draft, not one created in secret, not behind closed doors, but built collaboratively and openly over the course of many months. If anyone feels surprised by the contents of these bylaws, I would encourage them to revisit the publicly posted agendas, the meeting minutes, and the committee schedules. This process has been long, careful, deliberate, and above all, transparent. This project has been so time-intensive that my entire Mondays have been used for DDA business. That has taken time away from building my own business. I've done it to save the taxpayers' money, but this 2-year-old project needs to be completed so that we can move on to other things. The public and the village council members have had 2 years to address the board on this, and no one but me and Ms. Mattson have ever addressed the bylaws in public comment. So today, in yet another open meeting, the responsibility now returns to this board to make a decision and finally move forward to the next step in the process, which is legal review. With that being said, we have very few changes, and they were itemized in the description here on the agenda overview. Taking into consideration what we discussed at our last meeting, we edited section 8. To just read, in the event the DDA director position is vacant or the director is on approved leave of absence or vacation, the DDA board may authorize designated board members to make purchases or execute financial transactions on behalf of the DDA. So, does anybody have any questions or concerns about that one? So then moving on to our next change section 1. We just added in the absence of a director to the verbiage in section 1. Is there any questions or concerns? No? All right, and then the last one that we actually changed was at the very last, the amendment of the bylaws. We kind of circled back to the original bylaws on that with the addition of section 2, which was already presented in the past. So section 1 is the verbiage from our original bylaws, and section 2 has been reviewed through these series of meetings. Is there any discussion on that one?
Yes, please. Is this on? Okay, I only had 2 little things, but let's see. If we go to page 3, I totally agree with what Ms. Mattson said regarding taking out personal interest. And I think we could go a step further and just leave it at the legal definition of conflict of interest and take out both the words financial and personal. Page, let's see, 4, I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other, but Mrs. Mattson's recommendation is exactly how we sculpted this, both the council and the library public comments for the exact reason she stated, to be considerate to our guests that don't want to stay the whole meeting and have something to say about either or agenda or non-agenda items. So page 5, I disagree with Ms. Mattson taking out the wording about the village manager. This says work with the DDA chairperson and the manager. It does not say for. So
Right.
that shows collaboration, not subordination. Let's see. Page 6, the most minor of additions, please, when it comes to the evaluation performance. Just add a month in there. That way we've got, some kind of consistency to look forward to. Maybe like January evaluations or whatever the board's pleasure might be. And then I know, okay, the very last page. Talking about having 2 people co-signing, 2 members of the board. I believe for checks and balances to be tended to, it must be 1 paid employee and 1 appointed person. So our DDA director, I think, along with a board member. And then I know Mr. Cascella, Councilman Cascella, had reservations about hiring a treasurer and legal. But my recommendation is perhaps to state in the motion that the approval is simply pending legal review. And I think that that would tend to that. So if any of his reservations about those things, because that's outside of all of our scopes, none of us are lawyers, and I don't know, when I read it, I'm not sure if I agree with his interpretation or not.
I have done a little research into the PA 57, and it's pretty clear that DDA boards can hire their own legal counsel. And I referred to our interim director, and she said she's well aware of several DDAs that already have their own, separate from the municipality. So I don't think that there's any issue with that, but again, I agree. I don't know it through and through either, and I just as soon have it go to legal and have them work that out.
Yeah, and he had, you could tell he did some research, and he threw
Correct.
some numbers in there for ease of access to the information. I think one of them might have been citing our old bylaws, which I don't
Right.
have my hands on anymore. We've gone
Right.
through so many revisions. So I know that that was his concern too, is that we
Right.
were violating our own bylaws.
Yeah.
So I'm not certain that that would require anything other than, I don't know what that would require, like I
Right.
said, legal review.
Yeah, I do want to, since you brought it up, and I wanted to mention it anyways, I want to acknowledge formally that as board members, we did all receive an email from Councilman Cascella and with his concerns and his thoughts on the bylaw revisions. So I want it to be known that we did read that, we did take that into consideration, and at the end of the day, I feel like the council, as well as this board, just want everything to be legal and proper, and so that we can just move forward and get our jobs done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there were 2 sections that I wanted to have a little bit of discussion about. On Article, is it 10?
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
As far as the section, oh my gosh, no, I can't find it.
Is it section 10?
Yeah. But about the limiting the DDA, that nobody on the board can be on that can serve as the DDA director for a period of 2 years after being,
Section 9, page 6.
yes.
Okay.
Section here. I just wanted to find out, cause like PA 57 already limits board members to being a DDA director, so is that something that we want to have in our bylaws, or, like a specific time frame, or do we want to lean on the PA 57,
I would say let the legal review
Right.
let us
Okay.
know what would be best. Do you remember what the suggested amount of time was from PA 57, or what the limitation was?
I believe it just said, and I might actually have to ask Ms. Mattson if, she knows,
From my understanding, the PA just says that he cannot be on the board and be a director.
Correct. That's what my understanding is.
You can quit the board and then apply and be director.
Right. Yeah. That would be
So-
my understanding too, that you just can't serve dual roles, which obviously makes sense.
right,
And as, they would have to go through the same hiring process as anyone else anyway.
right.
So I don't believe there needs to be a time frame on there at all, personally.
Okay,
I
don't
like the
either.
2 years. I think that not only does it tend to PA 57, but it also offers that buffer and any loss of favor curried with the board, you know, from friendships rather than experience and qualifications.
I see what you're saying, in the hiring process. That's merit. I believe that.
I would actually love to kind of survey some other local DDAs to see if they have term limits within their bylaws,
okay.
to see if it's really necessary. I don't know if it especially is.
Jennifer, do you have any experience with, in your experience with how other DDAs manage that in their bylaws?
Yeah, so for Berkeley, we do not have this clause, so I actually was a board member, and then I gave up my seat and became director. So each village and city can, is a little bit different, but Berkeley didn't have that in their bylaws, so it's kind of what, this group wants to do. I can see, both sides, pros and cons, right? But my experience is in Berkeley, and we didn't have that, and the board didn't see an issue with that.
So,
Hillary's trying to wrap this up, so any further board comments on that particular comment?
Do you want to go through and get a consensus on each recommended change?
I don't know that we need on each recommended change, because I think most of us, I'm just asking. I believe everyone was in agreement with the changes. It's the
So just
time
this one?
frame, yeah.
Okay.
and then the only other one that I wanted us to look at collectively is in the committees. Because in section 8, who's having a hard time? Oh, on the executive committee, being a member of the executive committee, I personally do not want to have to approve every agenda for regular board meetings. I don't know if Jerome has time for that, or Linda,
No.
but I would personally like to not have to have a meeting every month to approve an agenda, personally. So I would like to have the reviewing, the agenda for regular board meetings and proposing the strategic agenda for the board, to maybe come out of there. Tim, is that the one that you had made suggestions on?
Say that one more time. I'm just trying to.
In regards to the executive committee, section 8, under Article 11 committees, I thought that was the one that I copied and pasted from an email that you sent, but, I'm not trying to undo anything that you did. Ain't nobody got time for that with the every month agendas.
Let's see, which ones was it? Yeah, so this was, from another language of a DDA that had an executive committee. We just talked about different ways, and so this was just a suggestion. It's however you want to, utilize your executive committee in the agenda preparation process.
I feel like that's dealt with well between the chair and the DDA director.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I saw that, I was like, whoa. wait a
Our
minute.
process is we send out an email to the board and ask if anybody's got anything for on the agenda.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the director, and then the chair and the director put the agenda together.
So then I'm just gonna take out, that sentence completely, if that's okay with you guys.
And then in the next sentence, the executive committee, that just becomes the second sentence, yeah. But yeah, board to committee, just for consistency,
Yep.
okay?
Did anybody else have anything that jumped out at them or that they noticed or was like a blaring red flag that they wanted to discuss?
Well, if everyone does agree on selecting a month, what's your pleasure? And that, back to page 6, section 5, annual performance of your DDA executive director.
When are the other annual reviews conducted?
Village does ours in January.
Maybe that'd be a great time to keep them consistent.
I think,
Well, ideally, it's entertained for January, right?
Yeah, I would say that if you're tying bonuses or anything to it, if you get it by April, that way you can have it all in the budget process for your June approvals.
so I do feel the evaluation then could be in January, and then any additional finances tagged to it can come to the February board meeting for approval. And
Gives you
then-
time before April, yeah.
There you
that's
go.
Yeah.
that's the-
Yeah, good thinking.
Because obviously financials have to be approved. January,
Okay.
insert
I still
January.
can't find it. Like, my pages aren't numbered.
My pages aren't numbered either.
Well, okay, mine are all out of order then.
Article 12,
Well, I was
Right
looking
here.
at the whole wrong line.
contracts, checks,
Okay.
deposits, and funds. You're there.
And this is regarding the evaluation.
Evaluation, yes. Here, next, flip that page over, it's section 5.
Oh, gotcha,
There you go,
sorry.
section 5 is where you want to be. And we want to put that
And
an
the month of
annual
January.
performance.
Okay. Annual performance evaluation in January.
To be, just put at the end of it, to be
Yeah.
completed in the month of January.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then the only other thing that I think is outstanding yet to finalize the conversation on, if we want to go one by one and decide how we want to do this, is the factor of whether a board member, a sitting board member resigns or is termed out. Is there a time frame we want to wait before they're eligible to apply to be the director? Currently, it doesn't say there is a time frame.
I'm not sure how this got added, but I will say that looking over it, I think probably where they got this language is because that is almost verbatim what it is if to become the village manager. So a board member of the council can't be a village manager for 2 years. And I'm guessing that's wherever it derived from, that is what it came from. So, within our charter.
So somebody's pulling that from that more than likely.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah. Anybody have any pros or cons against that? Like Jennifer said, I see both ways. I mean, I see if you're sitting on the board and we're all buddies and drinking all the time and having a great time, and then all of a sudden I'm the director, I could have some favorable votes real quick,
I would like to
perhaps.
state for the record, I do not drink or entertain with these people.
It was simply for the record. It's not actual. And I agree. So, does anyone have any strong feelings one way or another? I'm kind of favoring having a time frame in there.
I'm in favor of the 2 years. There you go. You see both ways.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't see that there's an issue, but.
You don't see there's an issue?
I do not see there's an issue.
It's a hard position to fill, so we're just adding more limitations, is my opinion.
I I tend to
Yeah.
agree with that
That's my
perspective,
opinion.
yeah. I don't know what the 2 years really gets you. It seems kind of artificial, and I always prefer flexibility when it comes to these kind of things. And if there's a robust selection process that everybody has to participate
True.
in, then that ought to stand on its own merit.
All right.
Although I just saw this, I will say that one of the things that it allows you to have is just, I mean, although this board is trustworthy and we know, we're also looking at how are we protecting future boards and future villages, you know, our future village in this. And it allows for maximum, like, transparency of like, hey, we are preventing any, like, even view of corruption or anything like that by making these requirements to have these separations. And we have the same thing in the federal government too, in that, like, if you can't work for a company for a certain period after you have, you know, like, if I were to work acquisitions in the federal government, I can't then work for a company that I would have contracted with, you know, shortly thereafterwards. So I mean, I think it is a beneficial thing, and it kind of protects you in the future, even though it might not be an issue now. But again, this is the first time I saw it, so.
Maybe to have some provision in there and we changed it to be a year. I think that even that is some beneficial opportunity to it.
What do you think, Hillary?
I mean, I'm gonna be our next DDA director, no.
No.
No, I don't think that we should limit people from serving if they want to move from being a volunteer to a paid position in the village, you know? I don't actually wanna be the next DDA director, but, I mean, Dave might. I'm fine either way, but I do kind of like maybe 1 year instead of 2, because it kind of sets a little bit of a buffer there, because they might not be a good board member or that applied, you know.
Well, they're
so
not gonna
does-
make it through the hiring
Right.
process like Dave said,
Right.
but I just think for Tim's sake, like he said, it does show that we're taking the precautions to make sure nothing happens that shouldn't happen.
I think a year is good.
Yeah. I'd like to amend it to be a
Amend
year.
it to 1.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Is that all right? 1 year?
I'm fine with that.
I feel like that's similar to when I took the planning stuff, or purchasing stuff from the village. I amended it to kind of like, we're not the village for the DDA. We have a smaller budget. They have
Right.
smaller payroll. They have smaller.
Right.
So, yeah, I think 1 year makes sense.
Okay. 1 year it is. Any other feedback on that? Hillary, or you got all your,
I've got everything, so.
any other board members have any input on the bylaws? Changes or otherwise at this point?
So now the next step would be to go to our,
The next step would be to type this up nice and clean and send it
with
to
the
our
revisions
legal.
and then send it. Now, do you guys want to further review them before I send it to legal, or are you gonna trust, I mean, the
Yeah, I don't think
changes
we
that
need
we've
to.
discussed?
I don't think we need to review it
Okay.
again. I think
Yeah,
we
so
reviewed
I'll
it to
type
death.
Assuming it passes, to go to the next step tonight, then I'll type it up and get it over to Linda or Jennifer to send to our legal department.
Chair, are you entertaining motions?
I am entertaining motions.
I would like to make a motion to approve the bylaw amendments with the edits we included this evening, pending legal review.
Second.
Any further comments? We'll need a roll call vote, I think, should be appropriate.
Coxey,
yes.
Greenway,
Yes.
Wingelmeyer,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Allgaier is yes, Herrick,
Yes.
Raska.
Yes.
All right, Stauffer is absent, so, oh my gosh, thank you guys.
Oh, wait, Hillary, actually.
Thank you, Hillary. All right, we're gonna move on to new business then. And we have a presentation from Kristen Maxwell. And she can share with everyone what she's here for and about the Mischief and Magic event that's coming up.
Kristen Maxwell, 104 Battle Alley, take 2. So most of you have been here long enough to have gone through Mischief and Magic last year or the year prior, so you guys kind of know the event. I did give you a little breakdown of what we do for that. It is Friday, October 24th, this year from 5 to 9 p.m. And putting that on, we rely on the businesses that take part quite a bit for that event. They all do things individually in their own businesses. So what I'm asking the DDA board for is a $1,000 sponsorship, or the potential of a $1,000 sponsorship, for things like marketing, adding mutual entertainment, decoration, actors, so that downtown and all of downtown has access to these things, and some of them, like the decoration, et cetera, we can use from year to year. Questions? Thoughts?
I know
No.
you guys put a lot into this event. I'm just curious how much, in the past it's cost you each out of pocket. It seems like you've poured into it.
So in previous years, we've asked each business to front $50 as we do for most events downtown, and I feel like that alone is fatiguing the businesses, being asked for every event for that. But last year, I put probably an extra $700 out of my own pocket into the event, which I don't necessarily see a return because the event is geared more towards retail businesses, so I try to adjust myself. But I love the event. I like what it brings to our village. It brings first-time people that have never been to Holly, and I think that has value. So,
In the past, just as I spoke earlier with you, the DDA has got the porta-johns. So that would be in addition to this. And we also have helped with marketing and promoting and that type of thing, which of course you want us to continue.
yes, be
Obviously.
lovely.
So, I don't know that you're really asking for a sponsorship as much as you're asking for an up to $1,000 credit to do some of these things
Okay.
that you're asking to do. Is this under the promotions committee, Kari?
I mean, it's always a co-sponsored
Right.
event, is how we've helped.
Correct. It is a co-sponsored event, which is great. And so I guess my question is, do you have that in your budget, and is that something that we can do?
We do have it in the budget. I think that brings a lot to the village.
I
You did
agree.
a great job with it. You're gonna do the T-shirt, like the special, like little package?
I didn't have a plan to do that again this year. It did okay last year, but it wasn't an incredible benefit.
Can you do T-shirts for the people that want them?
I could create a T-shirt if we do it ahead of the evening. We could do pre-sales for that, if that's something people are actually interested in. Because I know, like, we obviously, a lot of us that run the event or are active in the event like to have that kind of visibility and that benefit. But in terms of like sales that evening, they weren't incredible, so.
Okay. You may have more buy-in this year.
Yeah. You never know.
Maybe. We've had great participation with this event. So like I said, I try to put as little stress on the businesses as I can to increase participation. And I want to say we have at least 20 businesses in the common downtown area that take part and actively take part, which is pretty incredible.
It's a great event.
And I do want to reiterate that any of our businesses within the DDA that are in the northern area or the midsection that want to participate are more than welcome.
Yes, and I actively send emails and try to get in touch with them, and I do drop-ins, and a lot of times it goes unnoticed, but then we have like Dave and everybody at Battle Alley Brewing who are exceptional at adding things, and we try to push traffic down to them, especially ahead of the event.
We've had an outstanding experience with this event, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you for all your work on this. The first year, I know you just kind of threw it together yourself and
Wing it.
flew solo, and it turned out phenomenal.
It's terrifying.
And so, the fact that you're continue bringing your energy forward, I know we all appreciate it.
Yeah, it's definitely not just me. It's
Yeah.
a lot of people in town that take part in this. So and we have a
I
lot
would
of,
I guess I would defer your ask
volunteers.
to Kari. And
Do we need to make a motion?
I'll make a
Yes.
motion. Yep, I would like to make a motion to sponsor the Harry Potter event for up to $1,000.
Support.
Okay. Any further discussion? I have some discussion, and that is, I would like you to monitor what you're purchasing and what you're doing with Kari's
Okay.
supervision and partnership.
Perfect.
Because that's how we're working together, so that,
Yeah, this is just a blank estimate
understand.
in each zone, but we can itemize everything that we do.
And that way, it's kind of under her guidance and partnership
Yep,
with
which
that.
will be very helpful to me to
Yeah.
have a path forward.
Yeah, perfect. All
All
right.
right, we're gonna do a roll call.
Yep, we're gonna do a roll call vote then?
All right, Raska,
Yes.
Herrick,
Yes.
Allgaier, yes, Elliott,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Wingelmeyer,
Yes.
Greenway,
Yes.
Coxey.
Yes.
All right. Motion passes.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Ms.
Good deal.
Maxwell. We
Thank you guys
appreciate
very,
you.
very much.
Thank you. Next is our new business item number 2 that was added on, and Tim, you might not be aware of this. So, it was asked in the beginning of the meeting, prior to your arrival, that we add on item number 2, which is downtown parking. Holly?
Yes. Okay, so, on Sunday, Jenny Stillwell, who is actually in attendance today from Elements Days Off, came around with a very nice note to businesses. She was, taking matters in her own hands, which I loved. And she was, along with her note, which I will read, also provided these beautiful signs that, businesses can post in regards to keeping the premium parking spots in front of our buildings for our customers. And she actually put a statistic in her letter as well, stating that in Oakland County on a Main Street, that each parking spot generates $400 to $900 each day for that spot. So encouraging local residents, business owners, employees, maybe vendors, such as a vendor, let's say Blue Willow, to avoid parking in those major parking spots. And Jenny, your note was very nice, and I loved that you took initiative to personally visit the businesses, to hand these letters out and these nice cards, because I think it's really, really important. So if many of us business owners and business owners in attendance could encourage that as well, I think that's important.
You want to read that?
Yes, and I would love to read the letter. Hello, neighbor. Please know I am doing this at my own liberty in hopes we as business owners can come together and provide better parking experiences for our customers. Many of you already practice this, but did you know South Saginaw Street is considered prime parking in our business district? The parking spaces generate $400 to $900 plus a day for each parking spot. Please know this is not my data. This is from Main Street, Oakland County. If we as business owners, employees, renters, and residents avoid using South Saginaw Street as our personal parking spaces, we would see a notable increase of cars parking versus driving on through our downtown. Of course, we do at times need to unload and pick up things, but if we could limit our time to 30 minutes, it would make our parking spaces available to customers. Many of us have access to back entrances to our businesses and buildings, and that is better suited than the prime parking spots for unloading and picking up for both renters and business owners. I've created a simple sign. These are the signs. That could be placed in your front window or by your register, showing our customers we appreciate them and want to create an utmost convenience for their shopping, eating, drinking, and services in our awesome downtown. Let's kindly come together and hold ourselves accountable, and let's make a simple change together for the good of our customers. So,
Perfect.
thank you. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Love it.
Is there anything else that we need to know about parking? I know for a while ago, we had a parking presentation and all this kind of thing, and that's kind of gone radio silent,
I'm glad you asked.
not
because
that you didn't
on-
have a few other things
On
happening.
tomorrow's agenda, one of the items, new business H, is consideration of, no, not H, on D, consideration by village council of an overnight parking lot plan to the downtown and approval of the TCOs for it. Now, it's different than this. It's,
Yes.
obviously, this is really gonna be focused for how are we doing overnight parking specifically, and how it's like, how can we effectively do snow plowing in some of our lots? And so Chief Narsh tomorrow will be doing a presentation on it. The details are in the agenda packet. Primarily, I believe what a lot of it will be is that in the winter timeframe and overnights, in the lot that's like behind Red Devil, that one, like the middle parking area will not be available for overnight parking. So that area will not be there. We are going to try to move as much of the overnight parking to Crapo Park. He's got a whole parking plan for that. This isn't the same as this downtown, the whole master plan. This is just one of the steps that that we're working towards for it. So like I said, he's going to do a presentation on that tomorrow night. He's got the traffic control orders already on the agenda for that, and kind of talk it through. We're trying to get ahead of the winter. We know, we've only got a couple more meetings before it's upon us, so we want to have a plan in place, signage up, and he's got examples of what those signs would look like and everything, and would kind of remove some of the extraneous signs that we currently have, clean up some of that sign pollution that we have down there, and he'll talk all of that tomorrow. But
The other thing that, I don't know, maybe it's already being addressed, but since I'm not aware, I'm gonna bring it up anyways, and that is, what are we doing to partner with our overnight guests that are staying at some of the Airbnbs and VBROs in the area, and designating parking for them? Because they're coming to town, they're a one-shot deal, they don't know where to park, and are those property owners saying this is where you park?
So, well, for designated parking, I mean, you'd have to own the parking spot to do that. And there are, obviously in the public areas, there's only, in that like Red Devil parking lot, I think there's only 4 spots that are actually privately owned by a business. And then obviously, Vince and Kari own, another parking lot downtown. We can't designate public parking like that.
You can highly recommend.
We can highly recommend, but it won't be enforceable, and that's.
Well, I understand that, but I think sometimes, I mean, I've rented B&Bs before, and I always find it helpful when they tell me where I'm supposed to park.
Yeah, and so that's
You know?
that's the idea, is that we can give, like, we have designated spots, like this is where, designated spots for overnight parking.
Right.
But they're open to everyone. It's not gonna be, you have 1A as your spot.
Correct, no, I understand
So,
that.
this area is for overnight parking. Now, how we want, so our idea is like, all right, we're gonna try it least intrusive as possible, all right, these are the spots. No one has to register for overnight parking yet, those kinds of things, until that becomes an issue. If that becomes an issue, then we're like, all right, now we have to register, and how do we do that? Like, what does that look like? We don't wanna have to do that yet. We wanna be able to, like, let us try to self-police as much as possible. But right now, we've just proven over the last couple winters that we can't do it apparently for effectively plowing our parking lots. And so this is what we're looking at doing in order to mitigate that as much as possible right now. Did I answer your question?
Well, the Herald and the 2 downtown close to, they both have a designated parking spot. Those
Okay.
2 do.
What about the one above Cupcakes and Kisses?
Well, I mean, I don't know about that side of
Yeah,
town.
I don't know either.
Overnight
Over
lot,
in my hood, they've got parking.
is it posted that that lot is an overnight lot
Where?
behind Cupcakes and Kisses?
The far back against
That
the
back
far, yes.
row, yeah.
Somebody's been sleeping.
And I think it's just more of a matter of communicating with our property owners and asking them to recommend where their people park, is what my thought would be. But I don't know who that recommendation is coming from.
Are you talking about for overnight parking or for?
The Airbnb folk.
Oh, Airbnb, yeah. So I think that we're gonna have definitive guidance about, like, this is overnight, this is established as overnight, so that no matter what, we know that we can get our plows in there to do it. And so part of that is we haven't in the last few years done active, like, enforcement of it. 5 years ago, apparently they did, and they kind of cut back on that, and it's caused the problems we have now.
Right.
And so we wanna start letting everyone know, we're gonna start, actively enforcing this. So that means, you know, you might, if you're parked in an area that is marked as not overnight parking, then you may get ticketed, you may get towed if, you know, we need to get plows in there. So it's gonna be obviously a public awareness campaign to make sure everyone knows of these changes and make sure that it's clearly marked and all of these things.
Okay. Anything else on downtown parking, Sally? Anybody? Moving on to reports, committee reports, design committee, that would be me. We are actively moving forward with the grant-required projects. One being the arches across Battle Alley, that says Historic Battle Alley. Put some little holly leaves in there, they look fabulous. Got the information back, they've been in and out, we've actually got a deposit check request in, hopefully that's been taken care of. And then we also are moving forward with the mural in Battle Alley that is going to be honoring Carrie Nation. And that process is going to forward as well, and that check request was submitted, I don't know if you saw those already. Those are the two big projects we're working on. As I said last month, we continue to work with Carrie from the school system, and we're hoping to start adding some community art that would be both youth as well as resident driven to start out with, and that type of thing.
Can you tell us more about the honoring of Carrie Nation?
Tell us more about it. It's a mural. It has the photo of the Holly Hotel as it looked in that year. So year precise for that. So it's not like it looks now, but it's the Holly Hotel then. It's that, and then it has Carrie Nation standing next to it, and it has a verbiage on it that depicts the fact that it's Carrie Nation and the years and that type of thing. So
I wonder if it'd be possible to link maybe to have a URL code there or something to link to her story.
you know, it's
Because a
funny.
lot of
It's
people
funny you
just
should
think
say
she's a
that.
crazy
I was
girl,
actually
and
thinking
she's
about that
that's it.
with all the murals, and the design committee is actually looking at a mural program so that we can have possibly a new mural each year moving forward with throughout our DDA district. And I'm looking at some north end ones and midsection. I've already had 2 muralists out here, and I have connected with the Flint mural program, which is huge and very well done. And so I'm working towards that direction, but right now we're kind of in a rush to get this one done because of our commitment for the grant. Has to be done before the end of the year.
Fair enough. Thanks so
And
much. That's wonderful.
and in addition to that, I had the muralist that did many of them that are already around town, and I had him out, and he's supposedly coming back October 1st, and he's going to be repairing those that are in town that are kind of little at the moment, because it's difficult to paint on historic brick, and the process continues to evolve, and some of these were done 5 and 8 years ago, and they're peeling quite bad, and it's because of the brick. It's not because of the paint job. It doesn't hold up on that historic brick well, but he has some new products that are out now that he's going to try, and so I'm hopeful, but at least they're gonna get freshened up and look a lot better. So,
Yeah, good. A lot of people have been asking about that. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Have we run the murals by like the HDC as well, the Historic District Commission?
I
Which one?
reached out to them, and I was told that the murals are fine as long as they're going on a previously painted wall. So, and that's what these are.
Can
So,
the Carrie Nation one say, Carrie Nation welcomes you to Holly's social district? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Probably a conflict of interest,
That would go against.
but that's a great try.
We'll try that to the.
Oh,
QR.
and one other thing, design committee, I have to tell you, Merry Christmas, because we've started putting up our holiday lights. They've started last week, so Ganshaw Park trees are already lit. We're just not lighting them right now, and he's not running the ground cords so that we're not hindering any of the lawn and ground maintenance at this point, but the lighting has started, so pretty excited about that.
Awesome.
Economic vitality?
Yeah, we didn't have any real new agenda items to review, so we just had a brief meeting touching base on primarily where we're at with our vacant buildings, and that continues to be kind of a frustrating story. But as Tim just mentioned, there's been a lot of discussion about the social district, and we'd like to jump in there and assist as we can. So Tim will be reaching out and try to work with you on that. Thank you.
Promotions?
Promotions met, Hillary put together a presentation, had Joyce come from Oakland County Thrive, and she did an awesome presentation and presented some services that are available for Oakland County businesses. It was pretty spectacular. Hopefully some people are gonna take advantage of that.
11. We have 11 businesses that are getting a boost from Oakland Thrive.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, really
Yeah.
good.
Very,
So-
very cool.
They were really thankful to be there too.
Thank you for putting that together.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was the majority of our meeting. We talked a little bit about upcoming events, and then we're meeting again next Monday at 5:30 at the cafe. We are going to map out next year's events so we can get our calendars and our cards printed on time.
Awesome.
So it's the 15th or the 22nd is your,
15th.
15th?
We scheduled that, I think, while we were together.
okay,
5:30 on the 15th.
all right.
Okay, organization?
Yeah,
Got anything besides bylaws?
No, not really. We are meeting though, we did wrap up the bylaws, and we're also meeting on the 15th, but we meet in the morning because, you know, there's too much going on in the evenings. So if anybody would like to join our meeting, you're welcome to meet us at Battle Alley Coffee at 10 a.m. Monday. We're gonna be discussing our new work plans, and I'm really looking forward to getting rolling with our transformation strategies, so full steam ahead. That's all I have.
Okay. Village manager?
All right, so for tomorrow's agenda, we were talking about a little bit of it, but we have a few special events. We have the Mischief and Magic. We have Downtown Halloween on it. We have the Dickens Festival and the Dickens Parade are both on there. We have a couple new business registrations for Sweet Puff Smoke Shop, which is, you know, just changing ownership, I believe. Sip and Saddle Social Club is also on there as a registration.
Bless you.
I'm kind of just picking out the things that, you know, might be pertinent to the DDA.
Was Witches Night on there too?
Witches
or-
Night was last month.
Oh, it was?
We approved
Okay.
it last month.
Nice.
Yep. The parking plan and those TCOs, Construction Board of Appeals, we are gonna establish a Construction Board of Appeal. The village should have had one a long time ago. And basically, it's a board that exists if anyone has a disagreement with a building official's decision, it's a way you can appeal that decision. So like the interpretation of how that code has been interpreted. And so it's a state requirement for anyone that does building enforcement, and the village has just never had one before, and so we are creating one tomorrow. And then there's also a couple contracts as well in regards to the depot move, as far as, you know, an increase to wolf movers based on some of the changes, as well as some foundation work for the new bottom level where the depot will be moving. So that's going to be on the agenda as well for tomorrow. Jennifer and I did coffee with the manager this morning. She joined me at Battle Alley from 8 to 10. I saw Jenny walk by briefly. I think she heard loud voices and she, you know, ran away.
Smart.
But yeah, so
I did.
but you know, she's already Jennifer's already been jumping right in, and you know, I've invited her to join in on our department head meetings that we have every Wednesday to, you know, really get, you know, see everything that's going on within our community. You know, when she's available and can, you know, she's more than welcome to join in any of that. You'll also notice in this council agenda and a lot of upcoming council agendas, there's gonna be a lot of ordinance updates. I've been going like through the ordinance line by line and making changes. I've got hundreds of them annotated already that need to eventually happen. really, we're only implementing the big ones. One of the ones that you're gonna see tomorrow as well is that although we changed our zoning to allow for marijuana establishments, we never repealed the chapter 117 that prohibits marijuana establishments within our ordinance. So we're getting rid of that. So although there's provisions to take care of those kind of things, we are, just making active changes to those things just to clean up the ordinance as much as possible. We talked about social district briefly, and I did see some ways that we're advertising it out. I just want to remind everyone right now, as I pulled it up this weekend, the only 2 places that have an active social district license right now are Bittersweet Cafe and Andy's. You'll be on there too, but yeah, but as far as from Laura, because I pulled it up, I did a Laura report this weekend on it, just to check, and we gotta make sure that no one else is serving outside of those places until they get, or that could risk the village's license to have a social district. And so, but what I wanna do is be able to, work with Dave and them, and then go to everyone and say, here is like the actual paperwork, this is, exactly the criteria. We want to have more business in our social district. I talked to Blackthorn the other day, who previously not joined into a social district, and they said they're interested. So hopefully we can get some more involvement. The more that we activate that space, the more we can advertise it and utilize it for all the events. And I think it is a great tool that we have, and we have a wonderful historic downtown that we could be able to use for that. Yeah, and then the only other thing is, and I don't know if Jerome had mentioned it yet, Jerome, myself, Linda have met a couple times. We discussed the possible joint position role as far as a DDA director / economic development director. We came up with a job description of what that might look like. So this has not been finalized or anything yet, but I wanted to give everyone a copy so you can kind of see where the discussion is right now. If the board has any changes that they want to bring up to Jerome and Linda, we can kind of go from there. So it's the first just two pages. So, and that's all I have.
Okay. Moving on. At this point, I introduced her earlier, but I'd like to have our interim executive director, Jennifer Fenney, share any feedback and comments on your first turbulent technology week that you had.
Right, so I'm great in a lot of things, but no, there was a little bit of miscommunication with the email and how it was initially set up. Everything's good though. So moving forward, there won't be any more tech issues, but that was a little stressful. But hi, I'm Jennifer. It's nice to all officially meet you in person. I know I've been sending a bunch of emails, so it's nice to put a face with a name, and I look forward to meeting each of you individually for some one-on-ones in the next 1 to 2 weeks. I have 9 years in the downtown Main Street world. I started off as a volunteer in Berkeley, became a board member, and then became a full-time executive director during the shutdown of COVID, which was interesting. I took a step back from that role when I had my son, so I could be a stay-at-home mom when he was little. Now he's still little, but going to school, doing his own thing now, so I'm jumping back into the downtown world, which I'm really passionate about and love. So I just finished a role. I served as the interim director in Berkeley. They had already started their process of finding a full-time director. They knew it was going to take a little bit more time. They wanted someone to kind of keep things moving, so they reached out to me. So I was serving in that role for the past 6 to 7 months. So I'm really happy to be here. I have extensive marketing and event background. That's what I went to school for, and that's before I kind of jumped into the downtown world. I was always in marketing departments, usually just the one-person band. But I also have great leadership skills, great communication skills, minus the whole email tech thing.
Well, how would you know that the email was not done correctly to begin with?
Right. I have extensive work helping volunteers, helping businesses, being a leader, have great relationships with people, so I'm excited to jump into this role and help Holly.
Perfect.
Welcome.
Yeah. We're glad to have you. Thank you, Jennifer. Now it's time for public comment for anything that was not on the agenda. Anyone have any public comment for items not on the agenda? Seeing none, Moving on, board comments. We'll start down at the far end. Mr. Winkelmeyer?
No comments at this time.
Nothing?
I'm good.
Nothing? Great. Hillary, thanks for all the hard work, and Jennifer, welcome.
April?
I've almost read through this. This is great. I love the collaborative effort, and the job description looks fantastic. I have no recommendations. Welcome, Jennifer. I look forward to meeting you on Wednesday. And great job today on everything, you guys, especially you, Hillary.
I have a couple comments. One is, I've talked to various and sundry people, but I still would like to pursue us putting up the flashing crosswalk on Saginaw Street in front of the coffee shop and the vault. We already own it. It's solar operated. It wouldn't be that difficult to put up. The one over on Broad Street is working amazingly, especially during farmers market and things. And if you're concerned about parking, you're probably concerned about the 50-mile-an-hour cars going down Saginaw as well, because they go pretty fast down Saginaw Street. And I'm very concerned that someone's gonna get hurt crossing the street there. People do not always stop.
I'll have to confirm, but I believe that flashing light was used for the new middle school crosswalk.
For what?
The new middle school crosswalk, I believe that's the one they used on Maple here, but I will verify that.
And it's not. They have one at the DPW.
'Cause
Because that one went up first, then they put up Broad Street.
the one that they put up a week ago,
Oh, they put one up a week ago?
yeah.
I'm gonna hurt them. Because we had a grant available and I was told not to worry about applying for it because he had one at the DPW that he could put there. It's a severe issue in my opinion. Someone is going to get hurt. And I'm very concerned also with the new format of the Dickens Festival. As much as it is well received from the chief and the fire, both chiefs, there's gonna be a lot of traffic going back and forth across Saginaw. And without proper markings and car alerting, I'm concerned. And I'll just go on the record as being very concerned about that. So if somebody gets hurt, then I guess it's not on me at this point.
Well, cause the warming tent's gonna be over on Civic and,
Well, it's just, on a daily basis, it's hard to get across that street
Right.
and dangerous. I've almost been hit twice, and I'm not that hard to see. And I'm just worried about children and other people trying to cross there. And I'm very concerned now that I was told that we had one for there, and if it got used somewhere else, I'm very aggravated because we could have gotten a grant for one. And we were going to apply for that and didn't because we were told we had one to go there. So, on the record. And outside of that, my only other comment is Dickens Festival is well on its way. We're planning, it's gonna be great. DDA and Dickens Festival is partnering on that, and it's gonna be a great year. We've got a lot of excitement. You saw us in the Holidays Parade, which I wanna commend everyone that worked on Holidays because I think it turned out fabulous. DDA provided the stage, and we did our little history walk around town. People learned a lot of things about buildings that they thought they knew that weren't really true, and now they know some other fun facts. So it was fun, and got people a little stirred around town on that. Dickens Festival has several fundraisers going on right now. We have chrysanthemum sale going on. They're all on the website. You can purchase chrysanthemums. We also have raffle tickets available for a raffle that is, tickets are available from board members as well as other individuals that are willing to take some to try to sell them, which means anybody in this room is eligible to take some. And they're also, if you just want to walk in, you can buy them at Holly Antiques. So some great prizes. We have a weekend stay at a condo in Traverse City as first prize. Second prize is a recliner from Winkelmeyer Furniture. And third prize is a Blackstone grill from Alder Design. So we've got some great prizes, and hope that people can help support that, because as you well know, putting on a festival is expensive, and the fees of entertainers and carolers and all the stuff keeps going up. So it looks like we're trying to raise a lot of money. We are. Because we're trying to put on a really great festival. Businesses in town do comment that it's one of the best, it's the 3 best weekends of the year for them. Most of the businesses have had that comment, and we're gonna deliver again this year, and we've got some fun things planned, so that's it.
Awesome.
Meeting's adjourned. 7:10.